All right, so before we really dive into the chapter, I just want us to be all on the same page and sort of review here, right? So we've been looking at Israel and Judah, and just refresh my brain. What do we mean when we use those terms?
Say that again, Victor.
What do we mean when we use these terms Israel and Judah?
Southern and northern kingdom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's important going forward. And why did these kingdoms split?
Because God ordained it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Humanly speaking, Solomon was walking in idolatry. And so he said, I'm going to take away the kingdom from your son. That's why they split. Wanted to make sure we're all on the same page there. And, we've been looking at Rehoboam, who was the king in the south, and then Jeroboam, who was the king in the north. And you see that on your chart. But if you look at that, and you look at kings in Israel on the right side, notice how many there are. There's like 7 right next to each other. So the reason I gave you this is because we're going to look at all those today. And that's our goal. Chapter 15 and 16, there's a lot packed into it, but not a ton of detail. But the reason it's included is because it gives you context to when we get to Ahab and Elijah, who take up a large portion of Kings. Any questions as we kind of get into it? All right. Well, we'll pick up on 15:1, 1 through 8. Can I get a reader for 15:1 through 8?
Now in the 18th year of King Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, Abijam began to reign over Judah. He reigned for 3 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Maachah, the daughter of Abishalom, and he walked in all the sins that his father did before him, and his heart was not wholly true to the Lord his God, as the heart of David his father. Nevertheless, for David's sake, the Lord his God gave him a lamp in Jerusalem, setting up his son after him and establishing Jerusalem, because David did what was right in the eyes of the Lord and did not turn aside from anything that he commanded him all the days of his life, except in the matter of Uriah the Hittite. Now, there was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all the days of his life. The rest of the acts of Abijam and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? And there was war between Abijam and Jeroboam, and Abijam slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of David, and Asa his son reigned in his place.
Good job.
Thank you. Anything stand out to you guys there?
Glad I didn't read that.
It's interesting to me. We often say, visit the iniquities of the fathers upon the children.
Yeah.
This is kind of the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
God blesses the son for the goodness of his father.
For David's
even
sake.
Even though the son is a unpleasant person.
I was gonna go scumbag, but
Yeah. Well, I was gonna go worse than that, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that usually when it refers to David, it says, for David, where was it at? For David had done what was right in the eyes of the Lord and had not failed to keep any of the Lord's commands. And that's kind of where it usually starts.
Right, yeah, there's no.
But this time it says, except in the case of Uriah the Hittite.
Right. Well, all right, let's stop skipping over that. Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting.
King is dead now, we can actually put it down in the right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's been a generation or two.
That was another interesting.
That did stand out to me too. And that's what happened to Solomon too, right? For the sake of David your father, I won't take the kingdom away from you, but from your son. And so there definitely is a balancing act with that.
That was the major thing. I mean, contract murder and adultery and all this kind of stuff was going on with David at that time. But wasn't his failure as a father also a problem? I mean,
I think so, and that's never really mentioned.
no, I know, I
Explicitly.
mean, but it's obvious.
Yeah.
You know, Absalom, who's the other
Abi-
guy?
yeah, Adonijah.
Yeah, it's just like,
Two of your sons try to take
Come
the
on,
kingdom.
man.
Yeah.
where were
Yeah.
you?
Well, to that point, would have also been a problem that he didn't know when to step aside too, because
Yeah.
I think that was ultimately why his two sons tried to overthrow him, because they saw he was a weak king and he couldn't fight anymore. And we've already talked about a fighting king was kind of the point back in that time.
Really a shriveled up old man.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't expect
Functioning.
Donald Trump to go out and fight in Iran tomorrow, but
Just
we,
Greenland.
we live in
Sorry.
different days.
Greenland.
Yeah, Greenland, sorry. He might be able to fight in Greenland. I'm not
Greenland
sure.
settled.
Yeah, we got that done. Yeah, those are all good points.
Um,
Yeah.
I was gonna say verse 3 jumped out to me. He walked in all the sins of his fathers which he had done before him. And his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God as the heart of David his father. Like, you could say that's a bit of an understatement.
Yeah. Well, that's what we looked at last time too. It's like, what's the difference between David and Rehoboam or Jeroboam? It's faith. That faith blotteth out a multitude of sins. That in faith, our righteousness is covered.
Yeah, but the fact that his heart was not perfect
Yeah.
is like, no, his heart was the opposite of that.
Well, and it was said, that was the same thing that was said of Rehoboam, which is interesting, his father, because I mean Rehoboam started out probably maybe closer to worshiping God, but then by the end of his life, let's throw up all these altars, let's throw up all these things, and I think that's kind of the idea, that there was sort of, I'll take this God, I'll take that God, right? Kings is always warning us about that sin of syncretism or unionism, right? All the religions are okay, let's bring them all together, right? No, that's terrible. First commandment, love the Lord your God alone, with all your heart.
So were these guys very early politicians that they were trying to please the people?
I think
and
so.
Let's put all these things up because they're doing it anyway?
Well,
Solomon started it.
Politics has been around.
well, that was just for his wife.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, that was
true.
just to keep his wife happy. But
See, we can feel what these guys were going through, okay?
yeah.
Well, it's a little bit different keeping one wife happy or so.
That's true, that's true.
Yeah.
What, I think, yeah, we've kind of touched on a few of these things. Notice Abijah, he only reigns 3 years. That's usually not a good sign. I mean, Solomon reigned 40 years, David reigned, I think, 20 years, something like that. Not a good sign there.
Well, verse 6
Did he
just
get
glosses
killed?
his entire reign.
Yeah.
Did he get killed?
I'm actually gonna have us, throughout this section, I'm gonna have us look at the cross reading in Chronicles, because you learn more about the people.
Yeah, verse 6 just completely glosses them over. There was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam.
Yeah, and
Like,
what
that
do
has
we,
nothing to do with it.
and what do we know about that? What did God say about that when Israel broke away? What did he say to them?
Don't fight.
Yeah, 12:24, that's your brother. Stop fighting your own flesh. But what we keep seeing is, and we're gonna see this section, is that Judah and Israel keep fighting. And they actually try to destroy each other. What were the ways of Rehoboam? Remember, we looked at it last time, the male cult prostitution that we were disgusted with, some of that idol worship. So he's just continuing that. Now let's deal with that wholly following the Lord. Go to 2 Chronicles 13, 3 through 12. This was so fascinating to me when I read it. Because you would never have gotten this if you were just reading Kings, Yeah, 2 Chronicles 13, 3 through 12.
And Abijah set the battle in array with an army of valiant men of war, even 400,000 chosen men. Jeroboam also set battle in array against him with 800,000 chosen men, being mighty men of valor. And Abijah stood upon Mount Zepharim, which is in Mount Ephraim, and said, Hear me, thou Jeroboam and all Israel. Ought ye not to know that the Lord God of Israel gave the kingdom over Israel to David forever, even to him and his sons by a covenant of salt? Yet Jeroboam the son of Nebat, the servant of Solomon, the son of David, is risen up, and hath rebelled against his Lord. And there are gathered unto him vain men, the children of Belial, and have strengthened themselves against Rehoboam the son of Solomon, when Rehoboam was young and tender-hearted and could not withstand them. And now ye think to withstand the kingdom of the Lord and the hand of his sons of David? And ye be a great multitude, and there are with you golden calves which Jeroboam made you for gods. Have ye not cast out the priests of the Lord, the son of Aaron and the Levite, and have made you priests after the manner of the nations of other lands, so that whosoever cometh to consecrate himself with a young bullock and 7 rams, the same may be a priest of them that are no gods. But as for us, the Lord is our God, and we have not forsaken him. And the priests which minister to the Lord are the sons of Aaron, and the Levites wait upon their business. And they burn unto the Lord every morning, and every evening burnt sacrifices and sweet incense. The showbread is also set in order upon the pure table, and the candlestick of gold with the lamps thereof to burn every evening. For we keep the charge of the Lord our God, but ye have forsaken him.
Yeah.
And behold, God himself is with us for our captain, and his priests with sounding trumpets to cry alarm unto you, O children of Israel. Fight ye not against the Lord God of your fathers, for ye shall not prosper.
Yep. And then it says they go on to fight, and the men of Judah, whatever. And it even says in 16 that some of Israel had fled to live in Judah. I mean, but that's what's fascinating is, Jesus is always talking about hypocrisy, the hypocrisy of the Pharisees. It's like he's yelling at them for worshiping idols, but he's also leading them in male call prostitution and all these other things.
This is the old God is on our side problem here.
Yeah.
Well, and that might be, that does kind of get into the dangers of syncretism, right? Like he might be very sincere in his thinking. It's sort of a formalism, like we're doing all the right things.
Yeah, we have the liturgy.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, we're crossing the T's, we're dotting the I's, even though our hearts are actually not in this.
We had these other things.
Yes, and we're doing all these other things
But
too.
we're doing this too.
But that's a temptation for Christians too.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to church.
Yeah, we're going to church, we're going to
I can do whatever I
Bible
want
study.
the rest of my time. I'm being faithful.
Well, that was, in the 70s, it was the LCA pastors who wore the collars, who had the high liturgy, who had the, it's like, just because you have these things.
No, it's the women pastors.
Well, that too, but
Yeah.
that was a good sign.
It always amazed me with that is it was the rebels from Missouri who really led the ELCA astray. The really wacko liberals from our own synod are the ones who led all that stuff.
Well, in a lot of ways, this is the same equivalent of the people who are like, well, yes, we're a completely Christian nation. Well, do you go to church? Well, no. Why would I do that?
I've got my Bible.
I believe in God, and I've got the Bible. Exactly. Why would I need to go to church? And we're Christian, obviously.
Just because you dust your Bible off once in a while and leave it shut doesn't mean you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have prayer in school. Well, do you pray at home? Well, no.
Yeah.
You know,
So, yeah.
sometimes in these accounts of things in the Old Testament, I struggle with the numbers.
Like of men?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
We've dealt with that a
Okay.
little bit here.
The
But
king community.
it's just like, really? Jerusalem wasn't that big of a city at this time. When they talk about that and stuff, and then you come up with 800,000 guys.
I know, I thought the same thing.
Where did they come from?
Well, a
Yeah.
total of
How can you
1.2
afford to
million
lose them?
people on that battlefield is, shall we say, highly suspect.
Yes.
I didn't look into those numbers. My point there was to show what is this wholly devoted to the Lord business. Chronicles gives us this aspect that he's talking against Israel for their idolatry, but the numbers, it's kind of like, remember we looked at the sacrifices happening in the temple when they dedicated it, and a lot of those were whole numbers, so I think it's okay to maybe say they round to a whole number, make it look good, but I'm more inclined just to say whatever the number they put there, I'm going to believe it because it's in the Bible. I don't know if anyone else has any
Well,
two
it could be
cents.
slaves.
That's true too. And Judah, right? Judah they have Benjamin with them. They had conquered other nations and made them slaves. Remember we looked at that they didn't put the natives to death, but they had enslaved them and made them and their armies.
Which is what they weren't supposed to do.
Which they weren't supposed to do. So if we were to think,
They're only a couple generations removed from Solomon, who had enormous wealth
Yep.
and, built basically the biggest,
That's
grandest
true.
kingdom ever seen. So I
Yeah.
guess it's not ridiculous to think that their population might have been quite high at the time,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Well, and it said at the end of that, we didn't read it, but some of Israel had actually fled to Judah and were living there because they wanted to go to the temple. So it's kind of like the Civil War, when they would flee to the other side and fight for
Actually,
them.
the north versus the south.
Yeah, but
I mean, actually faithful people.
exactly. I know Kings didn't want us to think that, but wanted to be doom and gloom. So that's the interesting thing about Abijam, whatever you want to call him, is he's yelling at the north for idolatry, but he's not that different. But
You have a bit of a.
the first step is calling it out. So, and his son will look a little better. Shall we go to the next section? Any more comments on that first part?
Well, one thing I think that keeps coming up or will keep coming up, like in verse 7, it says, the rest of the acts that he did, are they not written in the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? And then in Chronicles, it's like the same thing. Are they not written in the book of the Kings of Judah? And I mean, I guess it's debatable whether they're referring to each other. But then in some cases, there is some extra information like this. And in many cases, it's like,
Yeah.
it's basically the same information.
Mhm.
But it might refer to additional books, like there might be a different book of Chronicles.
Of course, yeah.
That actually does list a lot more of what this king accomplished,
Mhm.
or attempted.
Mine doesn't say Chronicles, it says the Annals.
Yeah,
The
it's the same.
Annals, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just like history, right? Because you have the annals of the Roman Empire.
But yeah, when you read those two books together, you're like, okay, refer back, and you're like,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. Like,
And there is a book you can get. I don't have it, but it has it puts them all together. You can read it through in one book. That might be helpful for a teacher of this class to have. But maybe I should look at it.
Now that I think about it.
if you go to Amazon, all right,
Maybe it was a donation though.
my address is.
Stuart, on your reading there, I like my version better. What did you say again for verse 7, these guys?
For Chronicles.
Oh, they
Yeah,
gathered against them vain men, children of Belial.
yeah, okay. Mine says certain worthless scoundrels gathered about him. I much prefer that. At least it's a little bit more understandable.
Well, cool. I'm gonna move us
You're not
on
gonna back down on your.
because I like
Children of
Asa.
Belial, man.
Asa's a Lutheran.
Empty-handed and worthless men.
We'll
There you
go. Someone want to do 1 Kings 15, 9 through 15.
In the 20th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, Asa began to reign over Judah, and he reigned 41 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Maacah, the daughter of Abishalom.
We'll do it.
And Asa did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, as David his father had done. He put away the male cult prostitutes out of the land, and removed all the idols that his father had made. He also removed Maacah, his mother, from being queen mother, because she had made an abominable image for Asherah. And Asa cut down her image and burned it at the brook Kidron. But the high places were not taken away. Nevertheless, the heart of Asa was wholly true to the Lord all his days. And he brought into the house of the Lord the sacred gifts of his father and his own sacred gifts, silver and gold and vessels.
Silver and gold. Anything stand out? I mean, a lot stood out to me in this section. but-
Mine says his grandmother was Maacah, right?
Yeah,
Grandmother.
I have a note on that.
Absalom.
That is the preferred. I'll do that real quick. So look at 15:2, and then look at.
Yeah, it's the same exact person.
Yeah. He didn't marry his grandmother. Don't worry, they're not that screwed up.
Yeah,
Sure.
Maacah is the daughter of. Where do I have this? Yeah, so this is Maacah was Rehoboam's wife. Okay. So we just looked at Abijam. This was his mother. All right, and that's interesting because what does it say that she built in 13?
Old Asherah.
Yeah, and then look back at 14:23. When it was describing Rehoboam, he built the same image to her. So what it shows, right? We've been talking about. We all want to make fun of Solomon for his wives leading him to make these things, but it's showing that this woman, maybe she's a foreshadowing of Jezebel, right? But for 3 generations, she's led kings to make these images to Asherah, right? She's probably raised up Abijam in that. But yeah, what it means is your translation's right, that it's Asa's grandmother. And Abijam only lives for he only reigns for 3 years, so it probably means he died early, and maybe his wife died too, but his grandmother, right, Asa's grandmother seems to stick around and kind of be an advisor to him.
Suppose she worshipped the Asherah
Yeah.
to have heirs.
Yeah, we'll talk about Asherah a little bit later, but well, actually, let me see if I have it on this page. I can't remember exactly what she does. There's so many false gods. Let me think about it.
So was this
Return to it.
Asherah pole that she built or had made, was this done in contempt to what Asa was trying to do, or was this beforehand?
Well, I think it's like what we've been saying is you can allow all the gods, right? Muslims can have their mosque, the Jews can have their synagogue, we can have our church, and there's really not a difference, right? That's kind of the idea. And she's just putting that forth, that her goddess can reign here. That was sort of the idea of it. Remember when Solomon had put up all of these high places, they were actually across the mountain from the temple, right? It's on a lower mountain, the Mount of Olives, but it's like just right across. So the idea is for it all to be there together.
You know what? I just realized.
Oh no.
When Christ returns, where is he gonna show up at?
Yeah.
It says everybody will know when that time appears.
Yes, but he's gonna show up on the Mount of Olives.
Yeah. No, and he does a lot of his ministry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's almost like they're purposefully breaking the old idols of Israel.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Asherah. I have my notes on her. Yeah, she was the fertility goddess, and she's the sister wife of Baal. So she's the one that you would worship her by reenacting Baal and her coming together. And the point of it was fertility.
Right.
And worshiping Baal, the point of worshiping him was to get crops, because he's
And the mother of a king would want more heirs, so that
That's-
their royal
yeah.
family wouldn't.
that's
Her
just
line
weird.
wins.
Well, and she's the goddess. She is from, I can't remember which tribe. I think it might be, I don't know if she's an Ammonite or, I can't remember where exactly
Oh,
she's
yeah.
from. But she's a native of the land. She's not, like we said, that the kings were to worship, they were to marry someone that was good, but what do we know? Solomon's first wife was an Ammonite. A lot of the wives haven't been third cousins, let's say, as it was supposed to be.
It's noteworthy that she makes an abominable image for Asherah.
Yeah.
In his case.
I mean, we've been talking about that, right? A big thing in the Old Testament, don't make a graven image, even now, right? Don't make a graven image. Unless,
That's the second commandment, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks,
The
Pastor.
Amish.
I mean, unless God is incarnate and you have an image.
No, we allow.
So,
Okay, what good things does Asa do in this section?
well, he gets rid of his grandma.
You know, the women's study were trying to bait me in. They were trying to say, I was like, I would never get rid of my grandma, you know, but they.
His
Okay.
grandma was worshiping
Yeah,
idols.
that's true. I wouldn't listen to
Well,
her.
then, removing her from Queen Mother,
Yeah.
it's not like he's putting her to death. Like
Which
he's
would have
right.
been the just
He's just saying
punishment.
you can't have an official role in the government anymore. Like you're you're retired.
Maybe, isn't our
It's time for
president,
you to retire.
I think our president's theological advisor is a woman pastor. Yeah,
But
you
he
should
also
read about Asa.
He also expelled a whole lot of other
Yeah,
unholy worship.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, mainly, what, the male cult stuff, which we spent a lot of time on last time.
Yeah, basically he did everything but remove the high places.
Yes, and
Which-
what's the lesson there?
If you're going, you gotta go all the way.
If you're gonna do it right.
Yeah.
I mean, he effectively demoted his grandmother when he
Unless a woman
cut down
gets
the
involved.
image and burned it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's kind of like, okay,
And he does it in the Brook Kidron, which
yeah.
that's where our Lord passes through, right? When he's betrayed. In Gethsemane, he has to walk through there. And I think David has to go through there too when he
That's where he
exiled.
gets cursed by that one guy.
Yeah. Yeah, who was later put to death, we read about. You guys are maybe more negative than I am, which, I don't know. My reading of him not getting the high places down was,
You're young.
yeah. Leave the house better than you found it. I don't know, like, in your lifetime, maybe pastors can kind of weigh in on this, or wherever. You're not gonna be able to do everything, but you need to do the best you can. And getting rid of male prostitutes and an evil grandmother, I think that's a good thing.
And removing idols.
And removing idols, okay?
Maybe that's why he only lived 3 years.
Well,
That's
this
the
one-
nice guy.
Well, Asa, he lives a long time.
41.
Yeah.
Getting rid of open communion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think other than perhaps Josiah, like the other righteous kings of Judah are also not able to get rid of that place.
Yeah, it's like,
It just takes a very long time to do that.
that's their untouchable. We've always done it this way, okay? We can't get rid of it.
Some things you just can't do.
Yes. I'm sorry.
You cannot change the color of the pews. I'm sorry.
That's right. We finally got rid of the puzzles.
Don't touch the carpet. It's always been there.
But I mean, if you think about it, if they view the high places as being close to God, why
Yeah.
would they want to get rid of it? They want to be as close as they can, and that'd be the last thing to go.
Well, and a lot of things too, the high places, we're now how many years removed from David?
Yeah.
Right? The high
This
places,
is four
yeah, so we're looking at, let's see, 3 years plus however long Rehoboam reigned plus however long Solomon reigned,
Mhm.
removed from David. And when you think about all of that put together, we're starting to push like 75 years ago.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that we take for granted that didn't exist 75 years ago,
Mhm.
except for Marvin.
You stepped in what?
He just said we don't take advantage of you.
Thank you very much.
Because you're old.
No, you're right though. I mean,
He did say
and
that.
there's debate over this, right? Solomon had used it before the temple, but we know the temple is now there, and there's no excuses. Okay, let's take a look at the cross reading because it is Ken.
Where is the Asherah? Is it one pole? And where is it? And what did the high places look like? We know that this Asherah pole is detestable gross image.
Yeah, where it was, I'm not fully
It
sure.
was under every green tree, wasn't it?
Under every green, so there's a lot of them.
So there's a lot of them.
The high places, I've tried to look into this a little bit. I mean, take for what you will with the archaeology records. It would be like stones built up, right? And there'd be an altar in the middle. That's kind of what they look like. I showed you some pictures a few months ago with what they look like in America and maybe in pagan places, but I don't know if that's a one-for-one to these. But I mean, we know even in Ezekiel, right? We looked at Ezekiel, he's talking about tearing them down. This is going to be a problem all the way till the end. So, take a look at 2 Chronicles 15. Okay, we take for granted Asa being faithful, right? Because, I mean, his father wasn't wholly devoted, but it says of Asa that he was fully devoted. And I really like this section because it shows God's faithfulness. So I want to read 2 Chronicles 15, 1 to just 8-ish.
Spirit of God came upon Ezra, the son of Oded, and he went out to meet Asa and said to him, "Hear me, Asa, and all Judah and Benjamin. The Lord is with you while you are with him. If you seek him, he will be found by you, but if you forsake him, he will forsake you. For a long time, Israel was without the true God and without a teaching priest and without law. But when in their distress they turned to the Lord, the God of Israel, and sought him, he was bound by it. In those times there was no peace to him who went out or to him who came in. Great disturbances afflicted all the inhabitants of the land. They were broken in pieces. Nation was crushed by nation, city by city, for God.
So
You're right.
So Abijah had pushed north already.
Yep. Well, remember they were, so Ramah, right in the middle, that's where he was pushing down, and then Judah pushed him back up.
So they were sandwiched between Syria and Philistia.
Yeah, and that's why he makes the treaty with them, is to, it's like that's what they did in the Civil War to the snake thing, right? You choke them. I think. What else do I want to say about that? Yeah, he gets Naphtali, right? That's where the Sea of Galilee is. That's where our Lord kind of spends a lot of his. I mean, just think about how much they're getting Naphtali, which is right here. So hopefully seeing that map can help you kind of picture it. How is this a? We'll come back to is it pleasing? We kind of did. I showed you on the map what's happening. But how is this Israel becoming weakened by Assyria? How is that a fulfillment of 14:15, which was when God said to Jeroboam, "The Lord will strike Israel as a reed is shaken in the water, and root up Israel out of the good land that he gave to their fathers, and scatter them beyond the Euphrates, because they've made Asherah their lord." I mean, ultimately, this covenant, Judah's covenant with Syria, which will become the Assyrians, I mean, these are the guys who are going to destroy Israel.
Well, in a lot of ways, it's like they're getting driven out of the good land already.
Yeah.
Because Israel, the northern kingdom, is the hillier, or they basically has the good land. Judah's always been the rough, hilly land, but they're getting driven out of the good stuff. They're losing the.
Well, they're losing their promised land. That it's their. I mean, he already conquered on the other side of the Jordan, Manasseh and Gad, but the tribes of God are actually losing their land, which is the ultimate punishment for them. Okay, we'll look at Chronicles one more time. 2 Chronicles, I'll just read it to you. Is this pleasing to the Lord? What Asa does. This is 16:7 in 2 Chronicles. At that time, Hanai the seer came to Asa, king of Judah, and said to him, "Because you relied on the king of Syria and did not rely on the Lord your God, the army of the king of Syria has escaped you." Yeah, and then it says later on, "You've done foolishly in this, for from now on you will have wars." And then Asa actually puts the prophet into prison, which isn't a good look. But, I mean, the point is, this isn't pleasing to the Lord.
Well, and once again, I do like in a verse 9 there in Chronicles, "For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong on behalf of them whose heart is perfect towards him."
Yep.
You know, I mean, that's the same phrase that they use, that his heart is perfect for him. Like, why didn't you just rely on me?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, the same thing with Solomon, right?
Yeah.
It's like, why are you trying to do all these things when I've already told you if you're faithful, you'll be on the throne forever, you know?
Ever get the kind of feeling that these people, and even nowadays and throughout time, just never quite satisfied with what God has planned for them?
Mm-hmm.
They think they can do better?
I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah. Okay, well, I do need to push us forward. We're going to switch back to Israel. So go back to 1 Kings 15. Asa does good, of course, but he kind of ends maybe in a way that's not pleasing to God. Okay, now we could read 15:25 through 16:28, but we don't really have time for it. What I want to kind of show you I'll just highlight some things because it really does show how Israel is just really, I mean, they're deteriorating. They're deteriorating. Look at 15. We'll look at this first one and then I'll highlight the rest. So 15:25. So we're switching back to Israel. Okay, so the last Israel king we heard about was Jeroboam. Nadab, the son of Jeroboam, began to reign over Israel in the 2nd year of Asa, king of Judah, and he reigned over Israel 2 years. He did what was evil in the sight of the Lord and walked in the way of his father and his sin, which he made Israel to sin. Baasha, the son of Ahijah, the house of Issachar, conspired against him, and Baasha struck down at Gibeathon, which belonged to the Philistines, for Nadab and all Israel were laying siege to Gibeathon. So Baasha killed him in the 3rd year of Asa, the king of Judah, and reigned in his place. As soon as he was king, he killed all the house of Jeroboam. He left to the house of Jeroboam not one that breathed until he destroyed it all, according to the word of the Lord. It was the sins of Jeroboam that he sinned and that he made Israel to sin. I mean, this is a fulfillment of what?
And the prophecy a few chapters ago.
Yeah, I mean, this was what God had told Jeroboam that was going to happen, that I'm going to wipe your household out.
I will bring evil upon the house of Jeroboam and cut off Jeroboam.
Yeah. And now it's switching from, the household switching from Ephraim, which Jeroboam was from, to Issachar. Keep a note of that. Okay, and this doesn't only happen once. I'm just going to point out where it happens again. Look at 16:3. So Baasha, who took over, his sins were so great. 16:3. Behold, I will utterly sweep away Baasha and his house, and I'll make your house like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. Anyone belonging to Baasha who dies in the city, the dog shall eat, and anyone of his who dies in the field, the birds of the heavens shall eat. I mean, where have we heard that before? The exact same thing that the Lord said to Jeroboam. I made that with Copilot. I'm kind of proud of it. Yep. Okay, so that's 2 households wiped out. Okay. Can I get a third? Yes, you can. Go to 16:8. Yeah, I mean, so Zimri, he comes and he strikes down all of Baasha. And then moving forward to 16:15. There's not much here, so I just kind of want to highlight it for you, then we can chat about it. So Zimri, he kills all of Baasha and his household. And then Zimri is overtaken and commits suicide. We'll pick up, yeah, there. So what happens is, right, Jeroboam's son is killed. The guy who takes over from him, he's killed. Another guy takes over from him, and then he's killed.
He lasted 7 days.
Yeah, he only lasted 7 days, which isn't a good look. The guy before him died when he was drunk. Zimri lights himself on fire. Okay. And then pick up, and then we'll chat, I promise. 16:21. The people of Israel were divided into 2 parts. Half the people followed Tibni, the son of Ginnah, to make him king, and half followed Omri. But the people who followed Omri overcame them. So Tibni died, and Omri became king. In the 30th year of Asa, king of Judah, Omri began to reign. He built up the hill of Samaria from Shemer for 2 talents of silver, and fortified the hill, and called the name of the city of Samaria and the name of Shemer, the owner of the tomb. Okay, first of all, big scale, right? If you have 7 kings in however many years, 3 households wiped out, what does that indicate about your kingdom?
Weak.
Yeah. Yeah, instability. You're losing land. You're fighting a 3-front war.
And a civil war.
And a civil war in your own kingdom. Right, their civil war lasts 4 or 5 years. I think that's about how long ours lasted. Israel's not looking too good. And that's why they're so susceptible to wicked Ahab. Ahab is son of Omri, this last guy right here. And when Ahab will take over, he's extremely wicked, the most wicked almost of all the kings. And that's why they're willing to let him do whatever. If we don't do something, our kingdom's going to end. Our rule's going to end. And so they cling to him. And that's kind of the point of 15 and 16. That's why it moves so quickly from king to king to king. is because it's trying to thrust us forward to Ahab and Elijah.
I like how they're spiraling downhill too,
Mm-hmm.
because in verse 25, but Omri wrought evil in the eyes of the Lord and did worse than all that were before him.
Yep.
It's like, wow, that's special. I mean, that takes talent.
New record. Yeah.
How?
How are you doing things more wicked than
And what was
calf
happening?
worship and all this? Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of impressed. You found a new way to be more evil.
Yeah. I guess St. Paul says that they invent new ways of saying every day. And
Well,
yeah. Yeah, the internet. How are you even making more ways of sinning? Yeah. Totally.
What is a woman?
I just think of all these guys that they conspire, they kill, and then like within a year, it happens to them. It's like, and it happens more than once, you think like, hey, that might happen to your household too. Like, why do you even want to get involved in all this?
I know.
Well, it reminds me of the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
When they had that one where like it's like the one king, the one guy who becomes emperor, basically they pulled him out because he was hiding behind a curtain because he knew he was gonna get made emperor. And he just like no.
You can't refuse it, but you know you're gonna be killed within like
Yeah.
a year.
Well, yeah, and that's what Kretzmann is always saying. It's like every time he keeps repeating himself, and it's kind of annoying, but it's so true. He's like, God destroying this king and his household is a judgment on idolatry. That this is the right punishment for death. So you would think if you're the next king and that's being declared, well, maybe we're not going to engage in that. Maybe we're going to return to the way of our fathers, which Asa leads Judah in doing, and they have stability.
I mean, to be fair, Zimri only got 7 days.
Yeah.
And there, even for Zimri, it's like
You can't even get your plan started.
I mean, it's like verse 19, Zimri,
Yeah.
for his sins which he sinned in doing evil in the sight of the Lord and walking in the ways of Jeroboam, and in his sin which he did to make Israel sin. I'm like, he was there for 7 days. Like,
The chance, guys.
And he kills himself. He just can't do it. He's a millennial. I was gonna make one more comment. This is important going forward. Look at 16:24. He buys Samaria and makes Samaria the capital in Israel. Okay. So this area right here, Samaria, the city, it'll become a region. Okay. So when the northern kingdom is destroyed, and some of the Israelites are left there, they marry with the natives there, and they basically become Samaritans, okay? And in the New Testament, this is all over, right? You have John 4, the woman at the well. Why is Jesus speaking with a Samaritan? The Jews had no dealings with Samaritans. You have this all out throughout Luke's gospel, Luke 15, or not Luke 15, with the parable of the Good Samaritan, that it's the Jews pass by the person dead on the side of the road, but it's the Samaritan who stops, picks up. You have this with the leper. The one leper that returns to give thanks to Jesus is a Samaritan. The Jews, the southern kingdom, they will begin to hate Samaria because they see it as a betrayal. That the Samaritans were worshiping on high places, and they were sort of looked at as half-breeds. Half God's people, half marrying in the land.
What's interesting is that the Samaritans, yes, they were worshiping on high places, but by the time of the New Testament, they're not worshiping idols anymore even.
Yeah.
Like, at least they're worshiping God.
Mm-hmm.
Because what does the woman of the well say? Well, we worship here and they worship in Jerusalem.
And she claims that Jacob's her father, right? So
Yeah.
you have that. I thought I'd point that out, one, because that's prevalent in the New Testament, but also it's just they're going to be the reality going forward once the northern kingdom is destroyed.
Good job, Vicar.
Any other comments on that section? Otherwise, next time we're going to get to look at Elijah, which I'm super excited about, and Ahab. A lot of those readings are actually in our lectionary, right? So we hear them on Sunday mornings, and it'll be good to dive deep into those. Hey, we did 2 chapters in one day. I didn't read half of it, but
A lot of those guys didn't last long enough
No.
to make a chapter.
No, they didn't. So if you look at this chart next time, we'll pick up with Ahab and Jehoshaphat, And they both rule a little bit. Ahab and Jezebel. Not a good look.